Hello, my name's Gareth Davis. I'm a cloud solutions architect working for a company called Mobilize Cloud, who specialize in delivering cloud services for our customers. And today I'd just like to talk you through intelligent call centers and how the cloud is trying to transform your traditional call center. So let's take a brief look at existing call centers. Now, obviously, this isn't applicable for every service out there, but I think you could probably you've probably got experience with call centers that show these traits. So, one major setback for existing traditional call centers is they're very difficult to develop and manage. So often they're very unintuitive to use. You maybe only have one or two specialists within your company who can go in and change things like contact flows for you and change the way the IVR menu sounds. Well, I guess that's if you're lucky. If you're unlucky, you have to go back to your provider each time you want to make a change to your call center, and that usually incurs costly charges and long lead times. Secondly, they're usually quite expensive, long-term contracts that you have to pay up front. And more often than not, if you want to unlock additional features, such as chatbots, for example, then you have to pay additional costs to bump you up to the next level of licensing to unlock those advanced features. Finally, traditional call centers leave you stuck with your traditional IVR-driven menus that offer poor customer experiences. Often the customer having to spend, the first 2 or 3 minutes of a call pushing numbers to try and get to the person they need to speak to. And then often that this information not being transferred on the agent side. So even though you've gone through the rigmarole of selecting 1, 2, and then 3, the agent doesn't see this history, and the customer usually ends up repeating themselves again as to what choices they've made. So what solutions do we have? Well, we at Mobilize work extensively with Amazon Web Services. We're an advanced consulting partner with them, and a lot of our solutions are delivered on that cloud platform. Why? They are the leader in the cloud provider market. They effectively make up a third of all sales within the cloud market, with their next biggest competitors, Google and Microsoft, taking up more than the rest of the chunk. So it's worth saying that Google and Microsoft do have these kind of services as well. But I think it's fair to say that AWS are leading the charge in this field. So why AWS? Because they are established. They've been around for a long time now. They have an extremely large number of services, a huge customer base. They're global. And because they've been around for a while, they've managed to make their platform very cost effective. So what do they offer in terms of contact centers? Well, they offer a service called Amazon Connect. Now, Amazon Connect is the call center in the cloud. It is a very intuitive system using drag and drop features, which let most people be able to make changes on it very quickly and very easily. You save up to 80% on your competitors' pricing. As I said, you can make changes in minutes and not months. The service itself is what the cloud would call a serverless solution. So there's no infrastructure that you have to manage yourself when you are operating this service. It scales out automatically for you to meet demand. And Amazon provide levels or service level agreements around the availability of the service as well. It's an omni-channel service, currently offering voice and web chat. And the kind of big major plus point is that you can integrate it with all of AWS's remaining services. So things like chatbots, things like Lambda compute, so that you can hand off operations within your call center to go and make requests to other API services or other companies. For example, if someone calls up your company and wishes to make a bank payment, your contact center can hand off the processing of that payment automatically and securely to a function in the background which calls your bank and processes the payment automatically in the background before returning to the customer and letting them know that the payment went through successfully. And that's all without an agent listening in and potentially hearing sensitive information like card numbers. So it's all very powerful stuff. So what are we going to look at today? We're going to look at these three services and how they work together. So one of the major strengths of AWS, as I've said, is the ability to tie all of their services together to build out really great complex solutions that can really increase the customer's experience and journey. So we have here Amazon Lex. So that's the chatbot service within AWS. That gives you the conversational AI driven chatbots. Then you have Kendra, which is Amazon's intelligent search service, and that's powered by machine learning. So we'll get on to exactly what that does later. And then, as we've spoken about before, we have Connect, which is the serverless, scalable, pay-as-you-go call center. So as with all these services, and as with the majority of services on Amazon, it's all pay-as-you-go. So there is no upfront cost. There is no licensing fee. You are not committed to paying for these services or locked in. So what that means is that you can try these features yourself. You aren't tied in. You can, for example, some of our customers with call centers, they will pick a portion of their call center, say, for example, one tree on the IVR menu, and they will transfer the number over to an Amazon Connect call center, just so they can, filter maybe 20% of their calls through Amazon Connect and see how the service performs before possibly rolling it out to the rest of the call center. So that's what's really good. It lets customers have a good feel for how the system works. So how will all this look when we tie it together? So this is very high level, basic architecture of how everything ties together. You have Amazon Connect handling your phone calls coming in and also your web chats, which passes off requests to Amazon Lex, which handles the chatbot feature. Amazon Lex then queries Kendra for FAQ information. So what we're going to do is we're going to upload some frequently asked questions to Amazon's storage service. And then we're going to have Kendra, the search service, index those FAQs so that when a customer asks a question, they can interact with the chatbot and then automatically go off and get the answers for those common questions. And we're just showing here what we spoke about earlier, which is Lambda, that compute resource. So as I said earlier, that's for processing more complex queries. We can ask Lambda to do almost anything, integrate with your existing on-premise software, make a web request out to some third party, or just do some processing within AWS on a database, for example. We've also got the option here, another channel of doing something like Slack applications, the messaging platform, so that it can use this Lex application here as well. And what we're showing here is that the single functionality we've set up here can be reused 3 different times from 3 different channels. So that's not extra work, that's reusing all the work we've already done. So with that, why don't we show you what's going on under the hood? So let's have a look at a demo. Okay, so in this example, we have our FAQ in front of us. So this is just a straightforward CSV file with a list of questions and answers. So we've got things like, how long does it take to fix a laptop? Laptop repairs typically take 2 hours. So this is what we are going to feed into the contact center. So we've uploaded this to S3, Amazon's simple storage service. And we have then gone and created a Kendra index. So Kendra was that search service that lets you automatically search through CSV files. So in here, it's very straightforward. We have just created an FAQ type service, and we've just pointed it at that CSV file. So nothing too clever yet, or we're letting Amazon do the heavy lifting for us. We've then gone in and created a chatbot. So this is where it gets a little more complex. On the left-hand side here, you can see a list of intents. So intents are areas that the chatbot is expecting you to talk about. So for example, if you are having a look at the intent for checking an appointment, you might get these kind of questions coming from the customer. And when the customer asks these questions, it ties it to this particular intent and then the associated kind of function and flow for that intent. So we have a Kendra search intent here, and that is automatically tied into the Kendra service. We have our test chatbot here. So let's try and test the chatbot. So is there a cafe nearby? Let's have a look. Is there a cafe nearby? There is on the 3rd floor, and it's open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. Great. So that's our chatbot working. That's our chatbot going off to Amazon Kendra, which is then going off to the file we've uploaded to S3 and pulling the response back. So how does this all tie together? Well, that's with Amazon Connect, our contact center in the cloud. This is the contact flow that we'll be using. So this decides what happens when a call or chat comes into the contact center. So for example, we've got a play prompt here. And all we've done is ask it to say, hi, welcome to the IT support desk. We're then passing that on to the Lex bot that we've just created. And then eventually, if the person wants to speak to an agent, they get transferred to the queue to speak to the agent. And that's pretty much it. You can see straight away from this interface that you can quickly and easily build out complex workflows. So it's all drag and drop. If you wanted to play a different message to the customer, you just drag it in, like what you want to say, and save that. And then what you would do is drag that to the next action in the flow. Very straightforward. So how does this work in practice? Well, Amazon Connect have a test chat area. So if you imagine this here is your website with your built-in chat function here. And this is what Amazon call the CCP, which is the agent contact panel. So this is what the agent would have on their screen for incoming calls. So let's have a look. We open up the chat. And then we should get some messages through. Yes, so hi, welcome to the IT support desk. That's from the play prompt we looked at earlier. And then the Amazon bot comes in. What can I help you with today? So let's go back to our FAQ. So how long does it take to fix a laptop? So laptop repairs typically take 2 hours. Is there anything else I can help you with? Yes. What do I need to bring with me for my laptop repair? Laptop repair, please bring your employee badge, laptop, and VPN fob. I trust that answered your question. Is there anything else I can help you with? So at this point, I could carry on asking standard questions that the FAQ would bring back and automatically reply on. But maybe what happens if I want to speak to an agent? So I want to speak to an agent. An agent will be available to speak with you shortly. So you can see on the agent screen, they get an incoming chat, they accept it, and here they can see the history of the interaction. So they have a good level of understanding of the problem and the context that the customer is dealing with. So I'd like to know if you're open next bank holiday. No, unfortunately, we're closed, but open on view day. So you can see there that you can deal with quite straightforward issues automatically before having to engage with the agent on something that maybe isn't covered in the FAQ or more complex issues. So how do we get that to work on the omnichannel function? So if we end those, and we try a call now. So I'm just trying a call to the contact center on my phone, and we'll try asking some questions.
Hi, welcome to IT Support Desk. What can I help you with today?
What time does the help desk open?
Our hours are from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Is there a cafe nearby?
There is on the third floor and it's open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. I trust that answered your question. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I'd like to speak to an agent.
An agent will be available to speak with you shortly. Thank you for calling. Your call is very important to us and will be answered in the order it was received.
And you can see there that what we're doing is using exactly the same technology, the same contact flow behind both web chat and the phone call itself. And it shares all of the underlying services. So that's really powerful because it means you only have to do the work once, and you can open that up to multiple channels. So you can also open that up to the Slack application, for example. You can do things like Facebook Messenger, you can tie this into, and many other services as well. And then you can try and make that even more complex by adding things like Lambda functions to your flows, so that you can invoke custom code that will go off and get information and then reply to the customer with that information. So that could be things from your content management system, it could be things from third-party suppliers, or it could just be results from internal databases that you have. So it's an incredibly powerful tool. It's extremely intuitive, and it builds on top of Amazon's established services already for really tight integration and security. So looking back at our architecture, you can see how it was comprised now with the demonstration. And what we're really trying to demonstrate here is that once you have these building blocks in place, it's very straightforward for the customer to simply upload new FAQs, for example, without touching the underlying existing system. So it's almost like a self-service capability here, where you can upload new content to Amazon's simple storage service and have Kendra index it and your existing customers be able to interact with it. So it's very powerful because it offloads a lot of the complexity around chatbots and searching to Amazon with their managed services. So these are all serverless managed services, so you don't have to worry about setting up infrastructure or managing these. It's done for you. And obviously the additional capability of tying in other applications such as Slack, Facebook Messenger, and others into the kind of your ecosystem here. So in summary, what we've got is a 24/7 call center in the cloud. So usually you've only got your call center open for business hours, and then outside of business hours, you're left with a sorry, we're unavailable message. These are our opening hours. Well, what this technology lets you do is answer FAQ type questions outside of your normal business hours. So you're effectively creating a kind of limited 24/7 call center. So hopefully you can answer some of those questions that your customer has 24 hours a day, reducing the kind of pressure on your agents. We also improve customer journeys. So it's omni-channel support, as you saw, with chat and phone. So these bring down the wait times for customers with complex queries by offloading a lot of the simpler queries to the machine learning powered chatbots. And then we've got increased agent efficiency. So what all this does is it kind of reduces the noise. So your top percentage of calls that come through that are answered very easily by an agent, it gets rid of all of those straightforward kind of queries and lets our agent deal with the important calls that come through with the complex customer journeys. And finally, as I mentioned before, all of these services that you've seen today are pay-as-you-go. They're all come with no licensing, no upfront costs, and they all scale to meet demand instantly. That's Amazon's serverless offering. They're managed services. So there is no concern about kind of vendor lock-in. If you don't like the service, just stop using it and you'll stop getting charged for it. And this is why it's an extremely powerful platform to be able to trial services. As I mentioned previously, you can kind of offboard some of your call center to a number stored in Amazon Connect and route some of your calls through the contact center in the cloud, just to trial these kind of services and see how it all stacks up. So I hope that's been interesting. I hope it showed the kind of power that Amazon Connect offers and the surrounding AWS services, and how you can achieve those kind of advanced features, with a relatively intuitive and simple design platform. And it's all serverless, as I mentioned. It's all managed by Amazon. And that's what we do. We help our customers build these kind of solutions and support them going forward if they need it. So that's it. And if you'd like any more information, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Thanks very much.